Hey people, in this segment of the video I want to talk to you guys about the area of sex and intimacy in a relationship. Before I continue, I want to stress out something. I am no expert in this area whatsoever. I'm just a Joe Blogs like yourself trying to get laid without getting paid. Okay, that was just a little joke for the lads them. Women, I'm sorry if I've offended you. By all means, it was just a joke. No harm intended. Anyway, moving on swiftly. What it is I've been married for 2.5 years, just over 2.5 years, with one child. Reason why I've stressed this out is because I've been through so many ups and downs with my partner, and now I'm at a position where my relationship is striving. But it doesn't mean to say that it's going to be like that for the rest of our life unless I'm always up in the game. Sorry, unless we're always up in the game together. We're trying to help each other progress in whatever way, shape or form in the relationship. Then it will always flourish. But I want to stress out something. 2.5 years might be short, but it's all about the experiences that you got from that time that you've been together, isn't it? And that's the thing that I want to share with you guys out there. Now, the area of intimacy, every parent knows how difficult it is if the parents aren't together, that is, that having a child or more than one child is so difficult to be intimate with one another. And what do you do, especially for the woman, because she can get turned off so easily just like that. It only takes a little amount of stress to really put her off being intimate and being responsive towards you, the guys that is. And it's up to the guys to de-stress her as much as possible and trying to make her feel good, and also anticipate what times that you want to be intimate with one another, because kids have the tendency to wake up whatever times in the day, especially even if you've got routines. Sometimes they just do things out of the blue. They just wake up all of a sudden. They can have a nightmare or bedwet, or all sorts of things could just go wrong that day, and you might be prepared for the main event, both of you, and all of a sudden the worst thing is that your child just gets in the way, especially if you've just begun, or if you're halfway through a session, or if you're just trying to finish off a session. Now, what do you do in these situations? How do you move forwards? Guys, I want to point out something. Those who are single or in a relationship but have no children, just giving you a little warning to be prepared for these sort of things to come, because once you have a child, it just changes the whole dynamics with one another of being intimate, because all of a sudden the whole energy just goes towards that child or the children. You know, so how, where is their energy for being intimate with one another? This is what I'm trying to get at. Now, how do you steer the mind of your wife or your partner when you want a bit of action? That is for the guys, that is. I'll tell you what. First things first, like I said again and again, is to de-stress your partner as much as possible. Not put on any extra burdens or any stresses or any demands on her. And also, it's about anticipating the timings that you want to be intimate with one another. Select a good time where you're able to dodge round your children, when they're asleep perhaps, you know, and that's down to you to sort out a little schedule with one another. I want to point out something about sex as well. Both parties, is rare, apart from the initial first phase of the relationship where both people will enjoy the sex together. Through time, it's either one will enjoy sex more than the other, and this will fluctuate according to each person's day and their stresses and all sorts, because these all play factors in terms of how enjoyable sex could become. Now, these are just little things just to be mindful of. Also, don't expect your partner to always be very responsive towards you. Sometimes that especially the female, she might be on it, she might not. But it's down to you to always keep trying and looking for different ways and methods to seduce her. Because, you know what? Everyone has a trigger, and everyone can be swayed and persuaded to have, to be intimate with one another. I'll give you an example, outside the area of being intimate. We're always doing this on a day-to-day basis, where we're trying to persuade someone to either do something. We're trying to persuade someone to say yes, rather than saying no. And this can be in any instance of your life. And the same rule applies in the area of being intimate with one another, how do you turn that no into a yes, let's have sex? Now, it's all about how you make your partner feel at ease, which will help ease the tension and make her responsive towards you. Something for the women. Women, don't always expect that the man can turn you on instantly just like that. You know, hey, do your thing, turn me on now. It doesn't work like that, because you have to make it easy for the man as well, because relationship is a two-way thing. It's not just a one-way thing. If he makes you responsive, you know, and turned on, then are you able to turn him on? Because you also have to do something to him in order for him to be turned on. So it's a two-way thing. You both got to help each other. And the biggest thing where couples fail and where, you know, there's a lot of breakups in terms of relationships is that they fail to make a decision to work things out. They would prefer to be right then wrong and have it their own way, be stubborn and not come to any result whatsoever so the relationship could move forward. And that is how relationships break down. The hardest thing is to take the first step. And in a relationship, it's sometimes about doing things that we don't want to do for our partner. I'll give you an example. Every successful person, the reason why that they're successful, because they're doing the things that an ordinary Joe Blogs won't do, which is the grind, day in, day out. Whether they like it or not, they're working towards something and they're going to make it work regardless, whatever the situation is. They're putting in that effort when the days are just dull, mundane, lonely, boring, but they're still doing their bit because they know that they want success. They know that they want to make things work. And the same rule applies in your relationship in terms of the area of being intimate. Look for as many ways as possible to make it, you know, really tasty, spicy, really spice things up. You know, look for many different ways. Be spontaneous. I don't know, just do something. Think of something different. Because I'll tell you what, routine is the killer of passion. You know, it's easy for the guy to come, but let me tell you something. Women are completely different. I'm not just saying this for my own insight. I've also got insights from my wife. She's given me a female perspective, and also just through talking to people. I'm not just saying this out of my own, you know, understanding of things. Women get turned off by repeated and predictable patterns, if you know what I'm saying. Predictable approaches when you're trying to be intimate. It might work for a little short period, but then you keep on doing the same moves over and over again. It's going to get boring, so you always have to change things up. You always have to spice things up a little bit. Do whatever it is that you can to spice things up. And the woman, don't get lazy as well, because you have to do your bit as well. And see that serious face there? That is an indication of, I'm trying to stress something here, the importance of working together. If both parties can do their bit, then the relationship will always flourish. Communication is such a vital thing. Express how you feel, but don't be rude and shrewd to each other. I'm going to leave you on that note, guys. Until then, take care, stay strong, stay focused, and always live to learn to empower and inspire the lives of many, and as well as yourself. Until then, take care.